In this video, we're going to be looking at solving equations with variables on both sides. Specifically, we're going to be looking at special cases. So the first problem, I have negative 10 plus m is equal to m minus 6. So the first thing I want to do is I want to analyze this equation. I have variables on both sides, so I'm going to have to move the variable with the lowest value. Now, they both have a coefficient of 1, so it doesn't matter which one I move. I'm going to start with the one on the right hand side. I'm going to subtract m on both sides. Remember, I want to get one variable on one side of the equation. That's how I solve equations. These m's will cancel. I'm left with negative 10 is equal to negative 6. Whenever the coefficients are the same, okay, you will cancel out the variables. When you're left with this statement, you have negative 10 is equal to negative 6. The variables are completely gone, so you no longer have to solve. Instead, you have to determine if this is a true statement or a false statement. Because this is a false statement, right, you're not going to have one solution. You're not going to have all real numbers as a solution. Instead, you're going to have no solution. In the second example, you have x plus 6 is equal to negative 9 plus 4x. Now, same thing, this is an equation with variables on both sides. I want to move the lowest variable. So I have x and I have 4x. So I'm going to get rid of this 1x. In order to get rid of 1x, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. You don't have to write 1x, you just simply write x. These x's will cancel. I'm left with 6 is equal to negative 9. And then 4x minus 1x, which is 3x. Now, this is an equation with one variable, right, on one side of the equation. So now, this is a two-step equation. I want to solve or isolate my x. So I'm going to add 9 on both sides. I'm left with 15 is equal to, these 9's cancel, 3x. This is a one-step equation. Divide both sides by 3. 5 is equal to x. Now, you have to determine if this is one solution, all real numbers, or infinitely many solutions, or no solution. This is going to be one solution because you have one value for x. In the next example, I have 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3m is equal to 5 plus m. Again, the first thing I want to do is I want to analyze this. We have variables on both sides, so you want to move the lowest valued variable, which is 1m. Okay, so I have 1 plus 3m minus m, which is going to give me 2m. And then these m's will cancel. This is a two-step equation. I want to isolate for my variable, so I'm going to get rid of this 1 on both sides. The 1's will cancel. I'm left with 2m is equal to 4. This is a one-step equation. Divide 2 by both sides. 2's cancel. M is equal to 2. Again, I want to determine if there's one solution, infinitely many, or no solutions. So I see m is equal to 2. That is going to be one solution. Whenever you have one solution, you have to include the value for your variable. Now let's look at another example. I have 8n minus 10 is equal to 8n minus 3. Now, I'm going to immediately identify that my variables are the same here. So most likely, if I subtract any of these variables, they will cancel, and I'll be left with a statement. Negative 10 is equal to negative 3. There's no variable, so I don't have to solve, but I have to determine if it's a true or false statement. Negative 10 is not equal to negative 3, so I'm just going to write no solution, and I'm done with the problem. Let's look at two more examples. I have 6p minus 7 is equal to negative 7 plus p. Alright, so I'm going to move the smallest variable, which is just 1p. I'm left with 5p minus 7 is equal to negative 7. I want to get my variable isolated. I do so by adding 7 to both sides. 5p is equal to 0. Now, I still want to get my variable isolated. I'm going to divide 5 by both sides. 5's cancel. P is equal to 0 divided by 5, which is 0. Now, sometimes students will make a mistake and say that this is no solution. Well, P is equal to 0, so it's equal to some value. How many solutions is it equal to? Only one solution. So just circle one solution, and you can move on. The last example, negative 7n plus 1 is equal to 1 minus 7n. You want to move your lowest variable. Again, you have negative 7n, negative 7n. It doesn't matter. I'm going to add 7 to both sides, 7n to both sides. My 7's will cancel. I'm left with 1 is equal to 1. Because there's no variable, I'm left with a statement here. I need to determine if it's true or false. 1 is equal to 1. That is a true statement. Okay, so I don't have one solution and I don't have no solution. Instead, I have infinitely many, or you can simply write all real numbers. Both are perfectly acceptable.